So this is my very first stories that I did when I just literally arrived in Lisbon. Just doing a quick video. I just arrived at the hostel after no sleep last night. Look at that hairstyle. So basically, like, when I was going through that difficult time in the UK, I had this thing that I want to go for like a complete change. I want to look at myself in the mirror and not recognize myself. So I went to the hairdresser. I just had like the top was like very long and the sides were completely shaved. So obviously the sides of my hair are a bit shorter than the rest of my hair. And I had it dyed blonde before. It wasn't like part of this complete change. So this is the room. That is my bunk there. Number 9. Is there? In a corner. So I've got... Another thing that really strikes me is my accent. I lived in Manchester for 3 years and I picked up quite a... I wasn't like speaking like a Mancunian, but I picked up a bit of a northern twang. And when I was watching these videos, I realised how I lost a lot of it. Like, obviously it still sounds more British than anything else, but I don't say number anymore or bunk. It's amazing. I like a more neutral accent. That to put my stuff in. And yeah, so I've met a couple of other helpers and stuff, and then they disappeared, but I think they invited me to go somewhere, and I don't know, I should look there, shouldn't I? Yeah, so I'm just sort of getting in the swing of things, and I need to get some food. I'm starving. I've got some work. Bear in mind that I hadn't slept all night because I had just given up my flat the night before, so I spent the whole night packing and getting rid of stuff and cleaning the flat. So obviously I am tired, but also you can see the difference in the way I used to speak and the way I speak now. I mean, it's a person who is not very confident, who is a person who is... I'm getting a bit emotional. It's someone who's just been through something very, very difficult, and they're kind of struggling a little bit, which was completely where I was at the time. But yeah, let's continue. Let's have a look. Look at this gorgeous view. Lisbon. So yeah, Lisbon was my first country and my first volunteer exchange that I did with Worldpackers. You can definitely see a difference in how, like, my energy. So I'd been through a period of loneliness. I'd not gone out of the flat much in the past maybe 2 or 3 months before that video. So the minute I arrived, like, I saw people and I was out and about all the time. Like, I was always going out with people from the hostel. Today I still do, like, I meet people and I see them, but like I can tell like I was much more eager to do it. And also I didn't have a lot of work to do at the time. Like, now I have 2 podcasts and like social media work and stuff, and also my online job. So I was wondering that, like, about the energy that you have when you start traveling. Of course, as a nomad, you're constantly on the road and you're constantly moving, even if you're moving slowly. And it takes energy. Like, you can't expect to keep up the same level of like enthusiasm and even like in the next video you will see. Hello kids. Good morning. Just went for a run in a park nearby. I used to run. Like, I used to run twice a week, and I did it until my second country, until Spain. And then what happened was I went to Cuba, and Cuba video is going to be out in 2 days, but you will see, like, we rented a car and we were moving constantly every 1 or 2 days, so it was impossible to keep running. And then after that I just slacked off. Right guys, it's 1 AM now. I'm gonna have to speak quietly throughout my shift because obviously the entire hostel is asleep. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of what I do during my shift. So I volunteered in a hostel in Bairro Alto, which is like a very like party neighborhood in Lisbon. I was doing night shifts 3 or 4 times a week, I don't remember now. And it's actually interesting because at the time I thought it was amazing, and I never done something like this before. And now, having done 8 hostels, I can still say that it was a good experience. So basically, the hostel wasn't that big, and it was like this couple that owned it, and they lived maybe 2 roads above the hostel. And they just looked after it very like closely, and they were very careful with everything. The work was super easy as well. Like, I was just working nights. I had to do like a quick sweep of the bathrooms, and I had to iron bed sheets. Like, I don't, that was the only hostel I've ever seen that ironed their bed sheets. But yeah, I had to do that, which took me about 2 or 3 hours, and then I was free to go to sleep if I wanted to. So I'm so glad my first experience was a good one, because a lot of people start with bad experiences. A lot of people come to me saying, I tried World Packers or a different volunteer program, and I didn't like it. Like, the host was shit. Like, and then I always try and I know they discouraged, and reasonably so, but I always try to still encourage them to try a different one, because out of my 8 experiences I had maybe 2 bad ones, 1 was okay. So it's a positive balance, isn't it? I definitely recommend it, so keep going. If your first experience wasn't that good, just keep going. This is my locker. So what I've done is I unpacked the packing cubes, so you see that these red things. So talking about my bag, so I'm laughing because I'm looking at those fluffy zebra print socks, and I'm like, why on earth did I take them with me? It's like, why did I think I was gonna need fluffy socks? I don't know. But I had like loads of t-shirts as well. You can see there on the right, like, fucking hell. But that's the thing, like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it was gonna be. And people always come to me like so nervous. Oh, I'm packing for an 8-month backpacking trip. Like, what do I pack? What do I do? And I'm just like, you're not gonna get it right. Trust me. If you're doing it for the first time, you're not gonna get it right, and it's fine. And this stuff is what I'm planning to take with me. Obviously, I'm gonna have to do some eliminating there because I only have a cabin size. So it's that way. With practice, you will understand what you need and what you don't need, and it's also very personal. Like, maybe you saw the fluffy socks and you think, well, hell yeah, I need fluffy socks on my backpacking trip. Olha que lugar incrível, mano. I did a lot of travelling within Portugal because it was very easy to do. Like, you could just get on the train, and the train was dead cheap as well. So I did Sintra, and I did Belém, I did Cascais. I also fell out of my bunk. My bunk was the 3rd bunk on the 3rd like tier, and I fell off it in the middle of the night as well. Everybody woke up in the room like, what the fuck is going on? Do you remember these trousers? Oh, I cried when I left them. They're now in a rubbish bag in Lithuania somewhere. In this picture particularly, I'd just done a night shift, and I did the whole shift with a massive hole in my bum. And the owner of the hostel asked me to go shopping. Like, he asked me to go and grab bread or something. And I actually walked down the street for like 10 minutes with a hole in my bum. But yeah, it just kept like getting holes everywhere, and I was trying to fix it, but then like in Lithuania, the trousers were like, just let me go, man. It was in Portugal that I started my eating videos. So I don't take myself very seriously, so I just like to post videos of me eating the like typical food of the place. So that's me eating a delicious custard tart. Yeah, a casual pig walking around Lisbon. Yeah, Lisbon itself, it's a great place. There's pigs in the street, there's custard tarts, there's lovely food, and there's also a lot of hills. Like, yeah. Nobody told me that. I didn't know a lot about Lisbon before I went, and look. Fucking hell. But obviously it was a very comfortable experience for me because I am Brazilian, so I speak Portuguese. It was very familiar. Like, a lot of parts of Lisbon is like Brazil in a lot of ways, which is great in a way because, you know, home. A lot of Brazilian food, which is always amazing. However, in terms of experiencing something different and getting a bit uncomfortable, you don't get a lot of that in Lisbon. So yeah, that was Portugal, my first country. We will see each other again not next week, tomorrow. We'll see each other again tomorrow with Spain.